There's actually quite a simple answer to this. You know, when you are like, let's say, surfers, for example, if you ride a wave, you can go really high and really have
Mm-hmm.
momentum, yeah, when you're surfing. If the waves are not that high, then yeah, you'll have something. It will be okay-ish. This is how it's gonna be in 26. If you ride the wave of this energy, which is supporting you to take such a leap, then you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
be on something big, yeah. You're gonna feel it's gonna be, oh, I feel I'm living, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Hi everyone, this is Eris Mungal. Welcome to my channel. I have a very special podcast for you guys today, and the podcast is about 2026. You probably have been seeing my drip feeding of videos about 2026 because I think there's so much new things coming our way in 2026 that needs to be first explained in small sizes, but then I want to take this opportunity before I go into the predictions for next year for each individual sign. And before I tell you about next year, I want to take this opportunity to talk about a topic that's, from what we have been hearing and sensing, it's a very present topic for many of you. And that is the purpose, the career transition for next year. My guest, she's an astrologer. She's a very good friend of mine, but even more than that, she's a career transition mentor. She mostly works with women, helping them discover their innermost, deepest desires with the help of astrology and a lot of other tools. But she also understands very much how to take your astrological gifts and transform them into a career path, how to take what you are meant, what you are given by the stars, what you are given by God in this life, and transform it into your life purpose. And because 2026 is such a big empowerment year, it's a year where everyone finds their ground. It's a year where you find out what you are meant to do in this lifetime. I think this is the best podcast to kick off the discussions about next year, and gives you an opportunity also to ask questions and to let us know if you want more guidance here. I will introduce her briefly to you guys. So she is a career transition mentor. She's a deep friend of mine. I have been working with her on my own career path. And I know many other people that have done, and I have seen the transformation that this can bring to life. And I want to introduce her. She's Anca Secara. Welcome, Anca. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me and for this lovely introduction. It's great to be here. And as we're closing 2025 and when opening 2026, I think these kind of discussions are so beneficial. And yeah, I'm having with my clients lots of discussion. It's really a good moment to reflect and to think of what's to come.
Great. Before we go into a lot of the predictions for next year, I want to give you a bit of an opportunity to talk a bit about yourself. Tell me a bit about your story. What do you actually do? And of course, because we're on an astrology channel, about your journey with astrology and how you discovered it.
Oh, this is a great question, and it just opens so many drawers in my mind. So look, many years ago, when I was around 40 years old, I was going through some tough moments in my personal life. In my professional life, I was in quite in a burnout, and so heavy things were happening. And that was the moment when I started to work with a life coach, and she was quite spiritual as well. And that's when I started to meditate for the first time, to go to yoga, to do all sorts of therapies, to meet all sorts of people who were more spiritual. The first thing that I've done as an initiation for myself, I was initiated in that I was having this heavy feeling of loneliness. And after doing that, I just never felt alone again. So it was a big shift. And then I was trying all sorts of things like Akashic therapy, regression, you name it. I've done so many things at that point. And astrology was one of the methods I came across with. And that was like a stop in time. And it was such a milestone because in astrology, I found something that I couldn't find in all the other techniques or modalities, let's say, is that it feeds very well my left and right brain at the same time. So it has that rational part behind it, the science behind it, but at the same time, now I'm an astrologer and I can say full with hand on heart that it's a lot about channeling. It's very spiritual. So I found in astrology that tool that was much more integrated, left and right brain. So this is one of the part, and then it's such a strong development tool. And I'm talking here about real astrology, like you do it, like professional astrologers are doing it. I'm not talking about like the daily horoscope in a newspaper or this kind of things. So this is when I started, like 30 and a bit, got in contact with astrology, and then I started to study it. I was back in Romania at the time, and when I moved into London, where I live right now, I've enrolled at the Faculty of Astrological Studies for 3 years, where I've learned it like very thoroughly learned it, and it's been amazing how many things it answered to, and how much it helped me throughout the years.
Oh. Yeah, I think many of us have this journey a bit of searching and all the tools, but astrology is like a very pragmatic. People think astrology sometimes is woo-woo, but actually once you get into understanding how pragmatic it can be and how you can use it in a very systematic way in order to improve your life, that's when it does magic. So yeah, I have a similar experience with it.
Yeah.
And how do you think, since you started working with astrology, how has it impacted your life? Has your life at all changed since you discovered astrology, personal, professional?
Almost completely, I would say. So yeah, look, I think it goes very well with that saying, once you go back, you never go back, like once you start to know, and actually this is one thing on a very serious note, this is one thing I share very often with my clients. I'm telling them the fact that we're having this conversation, it's not by chance. You needed to hear this information at this point. You were ready to hear it, and now you also have the responsibility to act upon it. So the moment you start to know at such a deep level some things, and I'm going to talk more about it in a minute, then there's no way you go back. You look at the world and at your actions in a different manner. So to go back of when I discovered astrology, so astrology, first of all, it's a very strong, a very powerful development tool, right? So when I started to work with my natal chart, which is even now the most used element from astrology that I use. Some astrologers are more into predictions. Some astrologers are more in other things. My thing is that I go very deep into the natal astro chart, which is how the planets were on the sky when you were born, yeah? At astronomical level, at energetical level, I think it's like your energetical signature out there in the cosmos. And if we believe in multiple lives, then it is like a map, a roadmap of what you came to do into this life, how you came to integrate things, to learn lessons, to do what you meant to do in order to grow as a soul to the next level, right? So the natal astro chart for me is the foundation for any discussion. And I'll talk later about my modality and how I do things. But even now, although I've added lots of other things, astrology and specifically the astronatal chart is at the core of what I do for many, many reasons. Now, back to the point when I started to work with my natal chart, one of the first things was when I looked at this triad, the powerful triad of sun, moon, and ascendant. And when I saw that my moon is in Virgo, and I remember first, because I was starting to understand what's the energy of each of the signs and so on. And I remember I was like a little upset. Oh, Virgo feels a bit too fixed. I don't feel like this is very nice. But then I immediately realized that this was the balancing part in my life, because I'm a Sun Leo. So I'm a lot about showing myself, about doing creative things and like being out there in a way that can be, the energy of Leo can be very beautiful and creative, but can be sometimes very, very egocentric, while the Virgo moon is actually balancing that, and it gives to me framework, it gives to me daily routine. And progressively I started to realize that these are actually my anchors in life, and this is how I make things happen. I'm not just about, the sparkly bubbly things, but I also ground them through my Virgo moon. So this was one of the big powerful things, just one of many you can imagine. Then I have midheaven in Pisces, which is a lot about letting your intuition at work in what you're doing as career and public life. This was invaluable. This was huge for me to realize that, because up to that point, I was so much into the rigor of things. And so much, like, for you to understand, for your audience to understand, I started my career as a researcher, like market research. Everything was very analytical and rigor. Yeah, the moment I understood that my power is actually more into letting my intuition at play, my high divine type of creativity at play in my work, everything expanded. So these are just few examples. And beyond the astronatal chart, another thing I want to highlight here is that I quite a lot work with the moon cycles. Mm-hmm. So at every new moon, I set intentions. I know what that new moon is about, how it applies on my chart, and how I can extract the best out of it. And especially for women, this is of immense value, because you can go in accordance with the movement of the moon. You set intentions of new moon, you grow them with the moon. Then at full moon, you harvest, you heal what you have to heal, you go to completion with some things, and then you release, and then you give yourself space to start a new cycle. This helped me a lot in the area of avoiding burnout and these kind of things, like getting in contact with my cycles and with the moon cycles. So yeah, I can go over and over again. Further, but I'll stop here with the examples.
Amazing. Yeah, I think this channel is called Aries Moon Girl, so I had the same breakthrough when I found out about my moon sign, that I needed to name a channel after it, because it tells you so much about your inner subconscious desires and things like that. And adding layers and layers, and you understand yourself more, it gives you such a full picture of what you're meant to do in your life, and you find so much more fulfillment than just knowing your sun sign. But I want to go back to what you were saying, and about you working in marketing as well. And I kind of want to make a bit of a segue, because you were very successful in your career. You were very people sometimes believe, yeah, astrology is for people that just do that and they have no tangible roots in the real world, no corporate career. And so, that doesn't apply for me either, but definitely doesn't apply for you. And I know that you were actually a very successful marketeer. You moved to London. You were just promoted in a role when you actually decided to fully change your life. And I want to talk a bit about this, what drove you to it, and then how astrology kind of made you understand that was the path for you to take, and how these two worlds, like the world of astrology and being more spiritually inclined, can actually work really, really well with that more pragmatic succeeding in the world side. So would you mind telling me a bit about this? So I know that you you quit your marketing job. Was it 5 years ago, or you took a break from it?
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Actually, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I made the decision, and then it took me about a year to leave. So yes, I was a marketing director for regional. I had a regional role. I was marketing director. I was successful. I always loved doing marketing, but at the same time, I always loved understanding people and working with people. So I've done sociology. I've done the astrology faculty that I've done was more like psychoastrology. So, and always loved to work with people. And even in my corporate roles, I was mentoring people. I was coaching people. I was like, doing all sorts of things. And I will do just a short parenthesis here. This was part of my purpose always. It's not like your purpose or your mission in this life just comes to surface when you stop and you think about it. It is there with you all the time. And this was shaping more and more. And I was at a point that, so astrologically, I was after my nodal return, which we consider, as you know, in astrology, the nodal axis is considered the destiny axis or your purpose axis. When that comes into the exactly same position as it was when you were born, it's quite an important, especially around 36, 37 years old, it happens, this return, that it's really a milestone for many people, and it's a point when you start to align more with your life purpose. So I had that in 2019, and that was a moment when I stopped and I really thought about what I want to do. And that was the moment when I started my astrology faculty, and I knew I want to do more of this. So this was the sequence. And then in 2020, the world stopped. So for Christmas time, exactly this time of the year, because we weren't traveling, we were at home, and I just sat and I started to think of what I want to do at a more like very, very, to put clarity in my thoughts. And that's when I decided, yes, I want to take a break from my corporate role and see if I dive more into this side of me, how things go, how I can put it more at play. Now, I just want to be clear about it. These kind of decisions, you can't take them in a vacuum. You take them and you live life in at the same time, right? So this was a decision for my soul to follow my purpose. At the same time, I was feeling that at personal level, wanted very much to have a child, and I wanted to take a break from all the pressure and stress I was having in my corporate role. And and lots of other reasons. So it's a mix of things. And again, this is what I talk with my clients a lot. It's like, don't look as if you would see things in black and white. I used to do that. I don't do anymore. There's so many shades of gray in between, and we just need to acknowledge them and to be mindful that this is how life is. We're not monks. We're not gonna isolate ourselves and do our life purpose somewhere on a mountain, right? So I decided that at the end of 2020, another year I closed my role there and all of that. And then at the end of 2021, exactly for December 2021 was my last day in corporate. So exactly 4 years back. And then in 3 months, I got pregnant. We have a girl, she's 3 years old now. And only 2 years back, I seriously started, like in the meantime, I graduated from the faculty. I've done other kind of studies to like complete my knowledge. Maybe we'll talk later about it. But it was more like since 2019, I would say that I started preparing, starting dipping a little bit, having my first clients, doing some work. And again, this is what I talk a lot about with my clients. Create like what's like a career transformation strategy. And it sounds very pretentious, but start building something, yeah, and then you will take the leap. So I've done all this preparation, and then 2 years back I seriously started to focus on this, like a lot was my main thing. And since I started, I don't know if to share now or maybe we'll talk a little later about this, but since I started, there's been so many stages that I went through. It's such a process. And it just, because we're going to talk a lot about how 2026 is about new beginnings, preparing for beginnings, I can't highlight this enough. It's just that it is a process. With my mindset from the corporate times, when I was thinking, oh, I'm going to start, I was a marketer, right? So what did I first try to do? To build like I was building big brands. Well, think again, it's not working like that. So it's been a process of understanding what I was diving into, how to do things, what works best, how I can best serve the people I'm working with. And if I'm looking back, these past 2 years have been so like such a learning curve, at the same time super fulfilling, working with lots of people. Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, we touched a bit about next year, and I think your story, that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you, because your story fits so well with with the energy that next year has. It's an energy of courage, it's an energy of taking the leap, but it's not unconsciously taking the leap. I think you're mentioning this, and we all know that the story until now was like, quit your job and follow your passion, and then everyone slowly feels like, okay, maybe I didn't think this through quite a while. And I think our approach to this, or how we understand it, we understand that life is about a series of steps that you take towards your personal mission. But it doesn't need to be disconnected from life. It needs to be connected with the grand scheme of things. And you were successful in your marketeer job because you had the same qualities that you are successful with your clients. And that makes your full personality. And I think I'm an Aries moon. You are a Leo sun. We believe in success. We believe in success and winning at the traditional path. So I understand that. But I think many people might feel what you were saying there. And I felt it myself, like I cannot be fully myself just in a corporate role. I need to follow also my heart, my passions outside of it. Doesn't need to mean that I'm quitting everything and I'm only doing that. It means that I want to express and create something of my own. And I think next year is so big on that because Aries, Aries is a big theme, and Aries wants people to kind of, find themselves, find your inner voice, find your inner power, follow that path. So we're going to talk a
Aries
bit.
energy is a lot about identity as well, among others. So authentically define your identity, I would say, is the expression that would say what you wanted to say in here. It's about also putting yourself out there, but at the same time it's an inner process of shaping your identity in an honest way with yourself. So it's internal and external at the same time. Until now was a lot of internal work. 2025 was a lot of that, while 2026 is take it to the world. You can't wait longer, and you can't bypass that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I think from what you said about yourself, that's like the perfect example. How you take the journey in your corporate career, you take the journey in your motherhood, you take the journey, but you're the same person with the same values.
Exactly.
You're still yourself. I think we've been living a life where we didn't fully allow ourselves to be ourselves. And next year is about, I'm going to let myself shine through every aspect of my life. May it be career, may it be my own personal project, may it be motherhood or family, but it's about that a lot.
It is about that. And honestly, the energy of the year is so different with what we were used. It's such a shift in paradigm that even if you don't consciously say that you're going to do that, life contexts, people will push you into that. So a lot that I want to share today is do it now with intention from your side rather than waiting for others to push you there. But just one thought about what you were saying. I talk a lot about these days about this idea of careers are not anymore as linear as they used to be. Our parents had a job and they were for years and decades in the same role or the same business, or we changed a little, we went through few things. Now the energy and how the collective is feeling, how the collective energy is moving, is about using all your talents and gifts, using all your facets, like how I talk with the women who work with me is like, you're like a diamond, use all the facets of this diamond. Like we were talking earlier about my career as a marketeer, I extracted from there lots of skills and knowledge, and I've started to apply it in my business as a coach and mentor. Then I had this time when I dived so much into working with people and doing this a lot. Now I feel like I want to use more of my marketing thing again. Yeah. So, and that in 2026, I am going to have marketing again more into my life. I'm going to have a marketing role as well in parallel with my mentoring business. So I think adaptability and taking ourselves from a stagnant place, and from doing one thing into a place where we use more of our talents and we let them feed us the various parts of ourselves is the key, another key for 2026. Because we expecting for a corporate role or only for a specific type of business or to feed all your needs in 2026, it's not going to work.
Yeah, exactly. And this leads us into the discussion of 2026. And I think I want to talk a bit about why 2026 is such a pivotal year, why 2026 is the year of all the changes. And maybe you can start from 2025 and what this year was about and what next year is going to be about.
Yeah, so I'm not going to stay a lot on 2025. I think, as I mentioned, 2025 was a lot about closures, a lot about maybe retreat, maybe going like reflecting a lot. We had all the slow planets in a retrograde this autumn for a long time. So everything was like stopping for a moment for us to reflect, draw the line, take the conclusions. Obviously, some of us, we are consciously taking those conclusions. Others, other are forced into them. But this is what 2025 was in a nutshell about. Then in 2026, we already mentioned a lot. So big things that are happening. We have lots of like slower moving planets in air and fire signs. So they are masculine signs. They are about action. They are about progress. They are about thinking. They are about collective. So let's take a few examples. We have Pluto in Aquarius. We already felt it in 2025. Maybe this was a big thing in 2025. Maybe I should have mentioned. But it was like a bit of, you'll see what's going to happen. Now we saw what happened with AI, for example. 2026 is going to be such an acceleration of that. So lots of technology, innovation, lots of that happening. The collective versus the singular is growing. So it is a lot about collective. Aquarius, it's more about collective than it's me versus others. Yeah. So then we're going to have lots of fire, as I was saying. So we're going to have Saturn and Neptune that are going to be in Aries. This is a lot of action. And also we're going to have a great conjunction. We're calling great conjunction Saturn with Neptune on 20th of Feb, like end of Feb, beginning of March. There is a March into these dates, which is like the beginning of the beginnings. I mean, if there is one trend I would talk about 2026, it's this one. It is the beginning of such a shift. It's the beginning of a new paradigm. There are so many like cycles opening. Also in numerology is year one energy. I know you also talked about it in one of your in some of your content. What is number one? It's very like I'm mentioning this because it's so visual and so clear. New beginning, yeah. It's a cycle of 9 years. Something new that is happening, something new that is starting. And because it's Aries is about pioneering. It's about being courageous. It's about being first mover in what you're doing, opening paths that have never been opened. Yeah? And doing this even with a bit of under impulse, with fire in it, yeah, with passion and fire. And this conjunction I was mentioning is Saturn, which is structure, with Neptune, which is about ideas, vision, dreams, you know. So what is going to happen? Put your dreams into practice. The energy of this year is just not going to let us continue like just dreaming. Give a realistic framework to your vision, to your dream, to your ideal, to your spiritual journey. Give a very, very clear strategic shape. Yeah? So this is in a bucket, new beginning, very with lots of force, with lots of fire. Yeah? Also in Chinese astrology, we have the year of fire horse, as you know, and this is also about new start, yeah, starting and very like things happening very fast, and it's opening a cycle of 60 years, right?
Yeah.
these are so like I was reading the energy, like reading the moves, the planetary moves and so on. And I'm not gonna hide this. Initially I felt very overwhelmed. It's such a different energy versus what we were used with. I was like, oh, this is so much. But if you stay and you take a step back, it's so beautiful, because how much are we going to stay and talk about all these spiritual concepts and all these, I have a vision, I have a dream, maybe one day. No, this energy will be, no, not one day, today you start. So this is a big thing. Then another big trend is this, why I was mentioning it a little bit, it's me versus others. So we're going to have the destiny axis, the nodal, the lunar nodes axis, moving from Leo to Aquarius, south node in Leo, north node in Aquarius. North node is considered to be like what we came here to do. So at collective level, what we're leaving behind is the south node, what we are going towards and what we are here to do in the next 18 months. It's going to start in the summer, in July to be more precise, what we are going to do, what do we need to learn at collective level, and what's our North Star, let's say. Aquarius is talking about, again, communities, collective, humanitarian things, leaving behind the ego, which is Leo, and take that beautiful creative energy that Leo can have and joy of life and put it in the service of the collective.
Yeah.
We have other aspects that are happening. We have an opposition that is also happening on the sky. More of them that are going in the same direction. It's gonna be more like, if you want to translate it more at collective level, what this is gonna be, there are two things. One, I can see decentralized power, the power going to the people.
Yeah.
And through AI, this is gonna be one of the tools. If we smartly use this tool, this is gonna be what we can do. And then another expression of this me versus other, me versus collective trend is the fact that leaders who are gonna be egocentric, who are gonna be about their own interests, who will not have the moral value of doing things for the collective, are gonna be removed. And the ones who are really in service, whose heart is beating for the community, for the good of others, are the ones who are gonna win. So leaders who are like celebrity, like for the sake of celebrity, no, it's not gonna work anymore. So it's a big change that's happening.
I think the era of celebrities has started dying off anyways with Aquarius. Since Pluto has entered the Aquarius, people are like, oh no, celebrities. So it's already starting a lot.
Yeah. I'm with you. Yes. Then we have Uranus moving into Gemini. It's been a little this year, and 2027 it moves there. So again, air. Gemini is about information. It's about communication. It's about information. Uranus there is going to be bring lots of, I can see lots of change. For example, journalists. You're going to see more like independent journalist houses, or I don't know how, boutiques rising. This would be one example. Another thing, at personal level, one of my biggest advices would be, it will be such an avalanche of information, and we already feel it. The 2026 is going to be X times what we saw, even more. So understanding that this is something that we need to protect ourselves. I mean, to protect in the sense that take what's useful from it and use it in a way that it serves you. So having this ability to go through information and only extract what you need and don't let it overwhelm you. That's why I used a bit the word protection, because we will need to shield ourselves a little, because there's so much that it becomes harmful at one point. So this is another thing, that a lot of information, a lot of communication happening. How do we harvest this? How do we develop the skills of screening what's useful for us? Okay, another major trend happening in 2026 and opening a cycle of 8 years this time. So see, there's so many openings. Like I visualize like a bracket opening. It's opening. This is a approximately 8 years thing. Is that Chiron, which is called the wounded healer in astrology, is gonna move into Taurus. It's gonna go back in Aries towards the end of 26, and in 27 is fully going into Taurus. But nonetheless, it is moving into Taurus. And Chiron is about, why is it called the wounded healer? Is about deep emotional wounds that we have either from our childhood, either from previous lives, that are impacting us greatly in this life. And when I say greatly, like when I look at an astronatal chart, if someone asks me what shall I do first, the first thing I recommend is do something to heal your Chiron. Yeah? That's this. Most of the time I see interconnections. I see how it can stop you from fully showing yourself as you are. And when I start to talk with my clients, usually they start and I tell them, look, your Chiron is, let's say, in Gemini, so you don't express yourself as much as you could. You hold back when. Then they start to think of it and they start to say, yeah, this is so, to realize when they do that, and then to realize how, a parental figure, for example, in childhood, they would tell, don't talk that much, you don't know what you're saying, always we're not those kind of people who are saying our opinions, so on and so forth. So Chiron is really, really big, and I think it's underplayed in astrology in general. It's an important thing. So Chiron collectively now is moving into Taurus. And in Taurus, we're talking about wounds related to abundance, relationship with money, so big theme, relationship with our physical body, a relationship with even with nature. So, and also overall the theme would be how we value ourselves. Yeah, how we value ourselves metaphorically speaking, and how we let others to relate with us depending on how we value ourselves, and how we value ourselves in terms of financial reward and all that comes with it. Yeah, so this is a big bucket that is opening in 2027 for everyone. It's a move on the sky that it will impact everyone. But I would say that those born between 76, 77 until born in 83, 84, I think. So those 7, 8 years, I'm included in this category. So those who have their natal Chiron in Taurus will be triggered obviously the most. Yeah. And during these 8 years, we'll have our Chiron return. That's a whole story around it. But yeah, this is going to be a new era about how we look at abundance versus scarcity. And those who are going to work with this actively from this even now are going to enter in 2026 more prepared. So yeah, these are the big trends that I'm seeing. Many other things, many parentheses I could open, and many other things, but big things, these are the ones that I'm seeing for 26.
Yeah, you talked about a couple of things that I want to kind of put in context, because I think that's why I said we need to do this podcast now, because and you mentioned AI, and that's the scary word out there. So many people are scared about what AI will do to their jobs. They won't have any income anymore because AI is taking all of our jobs. And it's not with everyone, but there's a feeling of unease when people are thinking about AI, and there's a feeling of unease when people are thinking about their finances. So then this Chiron in Taurus fits very well, because it kind of comes in and says, okay, now is the time to find your inner value, and now is the time, actually it's an opportunity for you to value yourself at your full potential. And AI can actually be a tool in this. I think we're more, before something happens, you're in denial. You're like, oh, either it's not going to come and it's not going to affect me, or you're like, oh my God, it's going to be the end of the world and I won't have a job and I won't know what to do anymore, because that was my path until now, and now I need to learn something totally new and I'm not ready for it. So I'm curious to hear your opinion as well, but for me, it seems like this is something that's coming our way in order to help us fully own our value. And working, even if you work in a job with AI, can make your work easier, so you can focus more on your value proposition, which we are humans. So we've been doing a lot of small tasks and occupying our time very much with this. For the first time, it feels to me like we're kind of given a break to kind of discover our purpose. And I've been talking about purpose on this astrology channel also for years and years, and your inner superpower. And so, but everyone had bills to pay, and we were all like, okay, I'll just do what I'm told. What purpose? That's my job. I don't have time for purpose. And it feels like for the first time, we're going to have time to fully find ourselves. And this podcast is more meant to kind of prepare people, not make them panic about the future, but make them see the opportunities of being able to discover what you like to do, and develop yourself also outside of your regular tasks and things like that. So seeing the future as an ally more than as something to be scared about. Yeah.
Fully aligned with everything you said. And I feel like, it, like any big change, it comes with friction, right? It's something you're not familiar with, and it comes with friction. But at the same time, this is, if we know how to use this, we get out of denial first, as you said, and we understand the benefits, what we can extract out of it, then it is an amazing change. And those who are going to get out of denial first, they're going to be the winners long term. Not to say everyone in the end, we're going to embed this new energy, right? And this new knowledge. But if you do it faster, then of course you can faster harvest the benefits. So my view about jobs and AI it is exactly this, that AI is not here to take our jobs, but is to push us towards jobs that are more meaningful, and to push us towards our human skills that can't be replicated by an AI. Yeah? AI doesn't have empathy, doesn't have intuition, doesn't have the level of creativity that you have and I have and people have. So talking about purpose now, my purpose is to empower women to really follow their path in their career or business, to do what they love doing. Because what does it mean, do your purpose? Is to do what you love. This is actually what it means. You do it first for yourself so that you feel fulfillment and you feel true happiness, and then for the others, serving others with your talents and then gifts and what God gave you. Yeah? So this is actually purpose. Let's not complicate things. It's not about feeding, I don't know, dogs in Africa. Sorry, I'm not. I mean, there are people who have this, wonderful. But for most of us, our purpose is actually something that is much more close to our reality, right? And it is coming first and foremost from your talents. Talents and gifts, nothing comes by chance. God or the universe, whomever you think is out there, put you in this life. You are in this life to manifest what you have as inside of you. Yeah, and this is where purpose stays, and this is how we attach meaning to our lives. And now back to AI. AI is going to help us to do that, because as you said, we're not going to focus so much on meaningless tasks, automations and translations, automations and all of that. It's going to be history to be done by humans. It's going to be clear. It's a clear path and it's an accelerated growth for that. And wait to see in 2026, it's going to probably amaze us with the speed of development there. So yeah, I really think that this is in the benefit of us, and that we need to see it like that and harvest it.
Yeah, I agree. I would add to it also, and we're going to go a bit into the methods and tools that you find useful for people to discover their inner purpose. I think what we need to learn is that we're more than what we have done until now. And I think that was the big journey for me. Probably that was the big journey for you. Who am I when I'm not a marketing director? Who am I when I'm not an employee for X company? That sounds good. And you work with that, and I'm going to give like a sneak preview of what our conversation was about me, for example. So we had this session where you asked me to highlight what since I was a kid, was I good at? And I've always been like I've always been like the people that others come to for advice, and I give this advice mostly rooted in astrology, because astrology was always a big base in my life. And that state of flow and understanding, my Pisces sun, my Pisces rising, the state of flow and inspiration, and giving people advice that comes from me, but also sometimes I channel it. And it's not because I had the experience in X and Y job, it's because I was born with a set of gifts, or like how do you call it, like a template for what I'm meant to do in this life. And even if I was doing it in media and advising my clients, or I'm advising a friend, or I'm talking here on this channel, sometimes I just let things flow through me as the Pisces energy that I am. And that's my biggest gift, like to offer that. And I think if you think of yourself before you were this and that identity, there are certain parts of you that never change. You know, like if you cared about people, if you're compassionate, if you were good at giving advice, if you're good at some particular area in your life, you'll see that running all throughout. And then astrology, and that's your role here, that's what you do. It's kind of, okay, you were always meant to do this. It gives you the explanation. Oh, you were like this because this was always written for you. It's like, I see astrology more like a letter that we write to ourselves before we arrive here, to kind of remember what we are meant to do.
What?
And when you start working with an astrologer or with someone like you, it's like, okay, you can finally read the letter. Would you not want to know, what you told yourself before arriving that you wanted to do here? So yeah.
So nicely put. Love this. Yes, yes, and yes. Yeah. So more thoughts came to mind. So about what you were saying, that what's always with us is what we like, how you were describing your journey since you were a child. And one thing that I've realized is that the beauty of working with astrology and with the tools that I'm working is that even though, or even if through your journey, you might hide some of these, even to yourself. Like when you were a child, you are pure and you have, like you were describing, people are coming to me, I was advising. Then when we get into the system, and I'm not talking here, like in a conspirational way, just you get into school, you get into all these institutions, then we are a lot influenced by what the people around us and society says, right? So we're influenced, like what uni should you go? Oh, go to, I don't know, economics. It will be good to be a business person because then you'll earn lots of money. Or go to that or to that. Don't do arts. You're not gonna make a living out of it. Yeah. So these kind of things are burying what's inside of us. And lots of my clients are coming and they're saying, oh, I don't know, what could I do? I don't understand what's my purpose, and I don't understand very well what are my talents. And when we start to talk what they were doing in childhood, and then what are they good at in a way, in a state of flow as you were describing, then things are just popping out. It's so interesting. And then using the right techniques, and I will bring here, like I do guided meditation, I use theta healing as a technique also. So using the right techniques that just starts putting in front of you all of this. And at the core, as I said, at the heart of my modality is astrology, because when you look in an astronatal chart, you can see, so you have this nodal axis we were describing earlier, which is talking about what you've done in past lives, what you came here to do, what's your mission, what's your purpose. Yeah. So this is one of the first things we look at when we talk about purpose. But then your natal chart works as a whole. It's not just that. It's the triad we kept talking about, sun, moon, ascendant, that will talk a lot about who you are and what you can give to others, where you are gifted. Yeah. Then that's your 10th house, that's your 6th house. 10th house is about career and public image and where you can build that. And it's the 6th house, which is about work related routines that can anchor you into the reality, and so on and so forth. So they all create an entire story of what you can do as work and career or business that is mirroring your purpose and who you are fully as yourself. So this is what I do. It's in my role as a career transition mentor. I work preponderantly more with women, and I support them to understand, okay, who am I at my core? What are the life themes I came with in this life? What is my purpose? What are my talents and gifts? And how to use this in a way that makes sense in a career, yeah, either as an employed person or as starting your own thing, again, either in parallel as an employed. There are many mode ways in which you can do that, but this is the idea: do something from the heart that you are gifted with to do as a purpose in this life. And there's a lot again to talk about. And so my modality is, first, let's understand from your astro chart what you came with, what I was just describing. Then let's heal what's holding you back. There's always something. Let's be clear. And while you progress, there's going to be something else you discover, like next level. You know, it's like in video games. You unlock next level. To unlock it, you need to work with yourself, right? So I have a phase in working with my clients, which about healing, yeah, healing patterns that are holding you back, healing fears that are holding you back. Relationship with money is a big theme for everyone, and with abundance in general. So I usually have dedicated sessions about this, and here I use lots of tools like theta healing, I was mentioning it, then guided meditation, angels therapy. I work with crystals, with essential oils. I have many other modalities like coaching and mentoring, yeah. So this is it understand yourself, understand your themes, understand who you are at core, heal what's holding you back, then understand in an in-depth understanding of your profound understanding of your talent, gifts, and purpose. And then we go to the phase of what can you do with that? How can this be something that makes you happy? And I highlight this all the time. Being aligned with your purpose doesn't mean to be on service for everyone and just forget about yourself. This is not how it works. First, you do it for you, and this is not selfishness. And from a space where you are whole, where you feel good with yourself, you can give so much more to others. Yeah. So then, what you can do to be in this space of being aligned with your purpose. And then there's another phase, it's a third phase, which is about what is your strategy and plan to do that, to bridge the gap. And this I've added this later in my work because I was usually stopping of what I was just describing, and then people told me, look, this is wonderful, I love it, I see it, I can feel it, but now I'm here and you want me to be here, and I just don't know how to bridge this gap because life is happening and I'm in this vortex. So please, let's see how we can do that. And that's when my other facet, coming from my strategy time, came into play. And that's the beauty of permitting all of yourself coming into what you're doing. So I would say that beginning of this year, I've started to really work on strategy things with my clients, like what is that you want to do, how you're going to make this happen, what are the milestones, and so on, and really holding them through that.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts about this. First of all, the strategy which fits with your Virgo moon. Also, because Virgo takes it, takes it step by step and makes it happen. Mm-hmm. So it's not just intangible things. And I think another thing is about us having a strategy for our life, because we have strategies in work, we have strategies, like when we need to deliver a project. And so, but we are going to become a lot more independent. And this I write here because I leave it written for everyone that doesn't know what Aries is about. We're going to become a lot more independent and a lot more within our power, and we need to organize ourselves in order to achieve our goals. So that's going to be a big thing. And then the other thing which you highlighted, and I want to talk about, just because I was talking about that letter that we write to ourselves, sometimes life comes in and that marker that hides the writing there, this is what's happening to us through nurture. So even if I meant to have a lot of money in this lifetime, if I grew up with parents or in circumstances that have taught me, yo, you don't deserve this, this is not happening, it doesn't automatically, my chart doesn't automatically guarantee that I'll get that. There's nature and nurture, and the part of healing and the theta healing that you're talking about, and the meditations and the work that you do on a spiritual level and even psychological, you can call it, that kind of frees it up for you to be able to embody that chart, because the chart is not a guarantee. We have free will, we have a lot of how we've been nurtured and what's around us, and until we consciously tap into what we wanted for ourselves and what we're meant to do in this lifetime, and actually work to free us of anyone else's opinion, Aries, in achieving that, we won't be able to achieve it. So I love these methods that you're using. So you're touching on all three layers that are so essential for anyone to be able to be successful.
And now to what I was saying, I think at the beginning, start doing something, because it takes time. Where I am now is very different from where I started 2 years back when I started to focus on this. I started as a generalist, as an astrologer. And then I saw this ask about people really wanting to understand their mission and their purpose. I saw this struggle in careers and businesses. So it was a process, and it was my internal process as well. It takes some time. For some, it's longer, for others, it's shorter, but it is a process that you need to go through. So the sooner you start, the sooner you'll get to good results,
Yeah, and it feels like a good moment we tapped a bit into what you're doing and how you're doing it, but maybe you want to tell us a bit about your program and how that is structured, how you're touching on all these areas, and how does that journey look for someone that's looking to start something like this?
Yeah, I'll build a bit of context before I talk about the program I'm doing now. I'm doing more. But so in my journey since the beginning of last year, so in the past 2 years, I said I focused more into my business. And there was a moment like 6 months after when I realized that in order for me to have impact and real impact, I need to scale this. And in order to scale it, I need to see it as a business. Yeah, so I think that's an important realization, that anyone who wants to really build scale and impact through coaching, therapy, this kind of work with people, work, it's important to understand that you need to find your way to scale it and to have impact. Yeah, that was a big realization in my journey. And then I started to build my signature program, Live Your True Calling, which is a one-on-one coaching and mentoring program, going through the steps that I was describing earlier in a one-to-one. It's the most exclusive program that I have in my menu, let's say, where I really hold hand of the person who goes through, people who go through that. And this summer, I had again my own work with myself, and I realized that I've built new techniques, and I had more and more clients. And I took a pause in August this year. I worked with some business and energetics mentors, with healers and so on. And I've got to the point where I've realized that, yes, I am at a point where I want to scale further. I want to build a bigger business and have larger impact. And that's when I've created 2 group programs, Rise and Bloom. Rise already happened, and I'm not going to talk a lot about it. I'm going to repeat it, and if people are going to be interested next year, they can hear firsthand about it. But the one that I want to talk more about is Bloom, the Soulful Business Incubator, which is it's a hybrid program. Actually, it is starting with a private intensive, and then it goes into a group container. It's dedicated to women. We've done Rise, the first program, as such, and it's been amazing. It's tapping into this energy about community, about collective, yeah. And one thing I've realized is that throughout my journey, I was really craving for spaces where there are women who are spiritually awakened, who understand the idea of energy, and they understand that we first need to build our identity and mindset, and then it about strategy. And also I have a certain understanding about business concepts and things like this. And it's very hard to find this kind of communities because they're either or usually, And so through Bloom, I wanted to create this space, which is sisterhood. And it's also a certain caliber of women who are spiritual and also, advanced in understanding business and things like this. And Bloom at core, it is a program designated to women who want to start their own thing, more as a solopreneur. We're not talking about big businesses, but more as a solopreneur, something that mirrors yourself and you want to put out there in the world, either as a coach, mentor, therapist, practitioner of something like this, or as services or consultant or a product-based business. It doesn't matter, but something that you want to start from your heart and you want to put it out in the world. And the program is meant to take you through these steps of connecting with yourself, healing, understand what is there, the core that you want to transform into a business, what is your magic and how to battle it, basically. So understand what you want to do. In Bloom, we'll have women who have an idea and want to crystallize it, and even women who don't have yet an idea, but they have this burning desire to create something of their own. So we meet private first. In a private session, we discuss of what are your talents, gifts. We look into your astro chart in depth, and then we move in January. We start the group container where we're gonna do healing in the first 2 sessions. We have bi-weekly sessions, we have group sessions where we do healing first, relationship with money, and then we start to build what you're going to launch. Who's your ideal client? But an ideal client who I'm seeing in your astro chart that you can easily communicate with, and also you feel you can talk with that person every day. What is your signature offer? Again, I look into your chart, we're talking about it, and then we build on it. So this is why I said that building like a soulful business is not just about building your own business, but building something that it's like a reflection of who you are at core. It's a 3 months program, and it's part of to take a step back and relate a bit to my journey. It's part of my scaling thing as well. And I've launched partnerships on Bloom, and I'm very happy that you are one of the partners in Bloom, so that I increase the reach of this program to get to as many women as possible. Although I envisage it in the end as quite an intimate container. Yeah. So we're not going to be like, hundreds there. It's probably going to be 10, 15 women. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think because I've done Rise with you, and I know your work, and I think because next year is so much about stepping into your own power, your own mission, even if people are still living their lives in a very normal way, so with jobs, and so we're all conscious that the world is evolving and changing, and as we said, there's a lot of people that are going to want to start their own thing, even if it's a side hustle only, or if it's fully stepping into it and, like building it from scratch. There's 2 approaches to doing it, but there's a lot of people that are going to want to start their own journey. And I think what you realized a lot, and I've been through this partially at some point also, it's not the same game that we have when we work for a corporation than when we are starting our own thing. And that's where most businesses fail, or that's where most initiatives fail, because we don't know the behind the scenes of building a business. There's one thing, there's so many layers to your program. There's the discovering what your passion is. Then there is, how do I bring it to life? How do I work with myself to stop all the negative thinking that I might have around that? And it's extremely, I think your program is so complex, and it covers everything from the beginning to how you succeed, from finding out what it is to how you can bring it to the world and succeed with it.
Now, to be very honest with you, I channeled this program. It's not like I've created it by myself. Like I felt guided, when like you don't know, I kept wanting to do a group program. I didn't know exactly what's going to be. So I started in the summer, as I said, thinking about it. And then I felt so guided to do it this way. And now when I dived more into the energy of 2026, 2026, then I understood why I was guided to do it, because it is the year when we are meant to start our own thing. So it's very much in sync with the energy. I can't take the full credit of that. I've been very guided to start it. I'm very confident that it will bring together women that will inspire each other, that will co-create, that maybe will partner. I keep getting this message that will partner, they will start to do things together. So yeah, it's quite a promising platform, and I'm even thinking how to evolve it further as to stay in touch and to continue to build together the women who are going to be in bloom. Yes.
Yeah. We have a few more minutes, so I'm just going to address like the final questions. And we talked a bit about this, but I know that many people will still feel like a bit scared to start, the fear to take the leap, even if you're not fully leaving everything else behind, but the fear of failure that we all have. And I wanted to ask you why you think this is the beginning of 2026. We talked a bit about it, but why this is a good moment to take that scary leap. And then what about 2026 and momentum can do for those people that are joining the program? It's a bit more of a convoluted question, but yeah, I kind of want to address, that holding back that many of us have when it's about starting something like this. So yeah.
There's actually quite a simple answer to this. When you are like, let's say, surfers, for example, if you ride a wave, you can go really high and really have momentum, when you're surfing. If the waves are not that high, then you'll have something. It will be okay-ish. This is how it's going to be in 2026. If you ride the wave of this energy, which is supporting you to take such a leap, then you're gonna be on something big. You're gonna feel it's gonna be, I feel I'm living, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. There's a lot. We didn't talk that much, but the moment you align with your purpose and what you're meant to do in this life, opportunities come easier. Things just flow. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna work another day in your life. I don't agree with that saying. Yeah, you're gonna work. I do lots of work. You do lots of work, right? But it's just gonna feel so fulfilling. It's another level. I've done amazing marketing projects. I'm very proud of them, and there's no comparison. And when you do something on your purpose, it's just there is no word to describe it. It's deep inside you. You feel it. So there's an amazing wave coming our way. If you want to surf it, get into my program or something similar. I don't want to say this is the answer to everyone. I just want to say this is a good answer if you want to start something of your own and ride this big wave that is coming, and don't let it put you down, but rather be on top of it. So this is one part of the answer. The other part is we tend to look at these kind of things as a big mountain that is so hard to start trekking on. My modality and the way I do it, you mentioned my Virgo moon, and there are other things in my journey that are about this. Let's take it let's unpack it, let's decode it, let's unpack it, let's take it step by step. But the important thing is to start somewhere. And there's one thing that I've realized a lot is that when you are in with someone that supports you through the journey, you just gain years. I was trying to do it by myself when I started, because you know what, I was a director, right? I could do anything.
Yeah.
The moment I started to work with people, just because you can discuss that thing, just it lifts the heaviness of it. So be in this program, be in other programs, work with people who support you, and as a parenthesis, keep around you people who are supporting you as well. But work with people who are supporting you and see you and understand what you're talking about. So this is again another thing, like you can leave the fear behind by thinking, I'm gonna be held, I'm gonna be seen as my true nature. Like the astro chart is never lying, so we're seeing your true nature there. There are other women there who are doing the same, so vulnerability is encouraged. So women are going to be there to do that. So this is a safe space where you can really explore. So what I'm talking with people, I'm talking about bloom. I'm saying, give yourself 3 months for that idea that keeps spinning in your head. give yourself 3 months to see how it can look like. It's just 3 months, yeah? If you want to continue, obviously it's going to be longer, but if not, at least you tried. Maybe you want to try something else. You don't know, but give yourself 3 months to try. And about fears, and I'm going to stop after that. About fears, this is exactly what we work at the beginning of the program. Yeah, we're working with theta healing exactly to remove the blockages and fears that hold you back.
Great. Amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna put the details for all your programs down below. I'm gonna put the link for Bloom for people that want to register for Bloom. You're starting this in January, right? This is
So the first group, the registration is open. The first group meeting is going to be 9th of January. And the private intensive, if someone is registering, let's say today when you post this podcast, then we can do it maybe even towards the end of December. If not, we can do it in January. So official start is 9th of January.
Great.
And registration is open. So registration is open until 4th of January. Yeah? So we can do the logistics and everything.
Yeah, and as the astrologer in me needs to say this, that this is the best time at the beginning of the year, because all the shifts we talked about are coming, but they give you a bit of breathing space to organize your thoughts in the beginning of the 2 months, January, February, and even a bit through March, and then you're ready to go when spring hits. So I think it's a great fit also from the timing, also inspired.
Everything for a reason, I tell you. I initially I didn't think that it will align with this beginning of the year, but the things guided me into this situation, and it's, I think, the same. Yes, it's beginning of the year is a really good moment to set yourself for a different year, and a different start.
Great. So I'm going to put all the links down below. Because this channel, I do a lot of sun, moon, rising combinations. And so I'm thinking of something, a bonus for anyone that's writing commentaries or something to the video. We can maybe dig in a bit into the comments and give you like a sneak preview of the energies of your chart if you want on the sun, moon, rising, or if you have any questions about 2026, I think we can interact there. If you want fully to talk to Anca, I'm going to put her contact there, and she can, you mentioned that you have a meditation also that you want to offer the people on this channel.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. So if it is to think that we have like 2 weeks left, almost 2 weeks left of 2025, what would be my recommendation is to energetically close 2025 and start 2026 in an intentional way. Be clear with what you want to, what are your intentions for 2026. And for that, I have a guided recorded meditation that I can share with whomever is interested. So if you are commenting or writing directly to me, I can share this meditation as a gift for your community to have like a proper closure for 2025 and open 26 with intention.
Great. Okay, I think we're approaching the end. Thank you so much for joining me on this. It's one of my first podcasts. I've done some a while ago, but I think it's always better to come and speak to someone about what's coming, like get different points of view. And I think 2026 is so big, and what you bring to the table is so valuable. So thank you so much for taking the time. And maybe we do this once more in the new year. So
you've read my mind. So thank you so much for having me. This was really, really nice. And I feel we can chat like for hours and hours. These are really very substantial topics.